we're going to come up on a pretty heavy topic here. I want to talk a bit about dying, death and dying. I've already said that we have two choices. We either grow older or we die. That's it. And you've heard it said, none of us gets out of here alive. It's true. And, at some point we are going to pass on. Now, I don't know what your spiritual, religious background might be, but whatever it might be, I know that there are thoughts about what happens after we die, and I'm going to honor whatever your belief system is because it's your belief system. What I want to suggest is that what's good the older we get, and this starts in your 30s and 40s, truthfully, is to start realizing someday I will pass on. And that's a very real thing that's going to be happening to me. And to get comfortable with the idea that I'm not going to be here forever, as opposed to holding on and kind of mentally thinking, oh, well, I'm going to be here forever. You're not. Neither am I. You can plan. And one of the best things you can do to plan is to get into a meditative state on a regular basis. Now, again, whatever your particular tradition is spiritually, maybe it's prayer, maybe it's Zen, I don't know. But when you get into a meditative state, when you on a regular basis, maybe it's art, on a regular basis, you get into that place where you touch yourself as spirit, as soul, rather than just as somebody who's living on this planet in a body. When you do that, you start becoming comfortable with the idea that, okay, this is how I was before I had this body, and this is how I'm going to be again. And it starts to be a comfortable place where you don't fear it. You begin to really know it's there. A lot of people say, well, I don't know what happens after death. Well, you kind of have a little death every night when you go to sleep and you're totally unconscious and your body takes care of everything for you. There are places after this life. And the more comfortable you can become with that on a feeling basis, the less fear that you'll have around death. There are groups that talk about death. You can even call your local mortuary or funeral home and see if they have some groups that you can go to. If death is a big issue for you, if you're like really fearful of dying, it's helpful to work with that and to try to get past that. Now, in terms of practicalities of dying, get your ducks in a row. Make sure you've got your will in place. Make sure you have your living will in place, and that's the one that tells the doctors what you want to have happen if you are, brain dead. You're just machines are keeping you alive. Do you want to live like that for a bunch of years, or do you want them to pull the plug if in fact you're not going to get any better and you're not going to come back to consciousness? And finding someone who you're going to trust to make that decision on your behalf. But get your will, your living will. And the other thing is, and this is becoming more and more popular, is if you want to make sure that people have certain things, give them while you're still alive. If you have the kind of family that maybe is going to fight over your possessions or fight over your money, well, in addition to a will, you may want to start giving them those things while you're still alive. And part of the benefit to that is you get to see them enjoy it. Now, I know in some cases you don't want to be giving your money away because you need it. You're still alive. But depending on how much money you have, if you have quite a bit of money or you don't need everything you've got, you might want to look at passing it on while you're still alive, and that kind of takes care of that problem. But things like making sure that the people in your life know what kind of a ceremony you want, what kind of a remembrance you want. Some people are able to go buy their own funeral plot. Other people have already signed up for cremation. And all they have to do when you die is call, and those people will come. I did that with my brother. He wanted to be cremated, and I had everything in place, had everything paid for. And when he died, I made one phone call. And they handled everything. It was wonderful. And I intend to do that for the people in my life. And so when you think about death and dying, it's really important to think of the emotional part, think of the spiritual part, and of course the physical part of it, which is what's going to happen with all of your stuff. Be as involved in that as you can while you're still alive and kicking and enjoying your life. Other than that, the most important thing I can say to you is the more comfortable you get with death, and the sooner you get comfortable with death, the happier you'll be, because it becomes to be not such a big deal. Will you still have a little bit of fear at death? Probably. I don't know, because I haven't died this lifetime anyway. I feel pretty comfortable with that I'm going to die, and I'm going to move on. And some days I look at all my stuff that I'm still using and saying, well, I wonder who's going to get this, and who's going to play around with this, and how much of my stuff's going to go to the Goodwill. Stuff that I really value is going to end up, nobody else wants it, give it to the Goodwill. And you know what I find? I find having that attitude helps me be less attached to my stuff, and it helps me live a freer life. And for me, there's a lot of happiness to feeling freer and less attached. I can enjoy my life, the things, the people in my life a lot better when I'm not attached to them. Talk to you in the next video.